Go.
I am so tired of you acting like you speak for the people of the state of Indiana or the city of Indianapolis. You do not speak for me or anyone I know. Now listen, you two jerks. Jerks on the right.
Hi, everybody. Good morning.
Good morning.
Happy Friday. Oh, my goodness. Hold on. I have to make sure I have so much stuff open still. Hold on. I was not prepared for going live. Okay. Coming up on the show today, Nancy Mace. She introduces trans mice to the federal spending discussion. Trans mice, you guys. Yeah. Elon's big balls expert. You knew we were going to talk about that, you guys. You knew we were going to talk about that. And also, Dems delay votes, and they're super proud of it. Really
so proud.
They're so happy about themselves. All that and so much more coming up on the show today. You guys can check out all of the things, all of them, chicksontheright.com/links. Go there, do it. You can find all of the chick stuff, things, places, and then also click subscribe to this podcast if you haven't done that already. What are you doing with your life? Please get on it. It's Friday. Do it. Go crazy. Click subscribe. Also, stay protected from data breaches and brokers. It sounds so mean. Breaches.
Yeah, and the dark web.
With our sponsor, Aura. They're completely awesome. They saved me. I had like 4 things on my little report, and I was like, what?
You were all over the dark web.
I had no idea. I was everywhere on the dark web, and they fixed it immediately. It was really fantastic. So visit aura.com/chicks, start your 14-day free trial. Do that. And they will, you're going to be surprised. I bet some of you will be very, very surprised at what's on the dark web of your stuff. So do that.
You're all over there. You just don't know. And you can know with
It's
Aura.
True. What's up, Rachel Macau?
Yes, we will be subjecting you all to a Rachel Maddow clip today. But it's a funny one. So just hang on for that. We have lots of different stuff to get to. So many different things. So we're going to be all over the place today with all kinds of different headlines. And we're just going to start immediately by saying that there are rumors abound that Casey DeSantis could decide to run as governor.
What?
Because Governor Ron DeSantis is term limited, of course, in 2026. Now, this is according to insiders, and she responded to this rumor by saying, I think the rumors are out there because everyone in Florida is so delighted with how well my husband has run the state. And so they're just, it's so complimentary, whatever. But she didn't say that's ridiculous.
Yeah.
So
you're right. She didn't say that's ridiculous. So that is really, really interesting. Wow.
Yeah. So it basically means we have the DeSantis's back for another 8 years, which would be amazing.
That would be pretty amazing, wouldn't it? Oh my God.
So do with that rumor what you will.
Yes, ma'am.
But that is a rumor. And then now, since this was expected, but now that Trump has banned men from women's sports, the NCAA has followed suit. And he wrote about it yesterday on True Social, saying, exciting news. Due to my executive order, which I proudly signed yesterday, the NCAA has officially changed their policy of allowing men in women's sports. It is now banned. This is a great day for women and girls across our country. Men should have never been allowed to compete against women in the first place. But I am proud to be the president to save women's sports. We expect the Olympics Committee to also use common sense and implement this policy, which is very popular among the American people and the entire world.
All it took was some mansplaining. That's all it took.
But even though it is such a popularly held belief that, of course, men should not be in women's sports, we still have idiotic people like the ones in Minnesota under Tim Walz who are saying we're still not going to comply. The Minnesota State High School League says it will ignore the new executive order and continue allowing biological males to compete in girls' sports. Hope they don't like federal funding, because bye.
Yeah, they're not going to get it Plus, you suck, Minnesota.
Right?
Seriously, if you have a girl, if you're a parent of a girl in Minnesota and she plays sports, I would move. Seriously, I'd be like, I'm done. This state sucks. Bye. What are they even doing?
I don't know. And especially because, as so many people have already pointed out, and we've got a couple more pieces of information about this, this is a winning issue. You want to be on the right side of this issue, which is the common sense side.
Right.
Even the data geek from CNN was talking about the support that Trump has for this particular executive order. When you see the numbers, it's pretty striking.
I think these numbers are really illuminating on this topic because I just think there's such a clear trend among the American public. So transgender female athletes in women's sports, only 18% of the country says that they should be, in fact, allowed to participate in women's sports. Compare this to the opposition. I mean, my goodness gracious, 79%. You rarely get 79% of the country to agree on anything, but they do, in fact, agree on the idea of opposing transgender female athletes in women's sports. He's just...
Yeah, of course they do.
That 18% are the people in the country who believe that those hunting clothes were really Tim Walls's hunting clothes.
Right. And then he was actually, what was he doing with the car? Was he like changing the oil or something?
I don't know. He doesn't know. He has no idea. No clue.
So we had the geeky guy giving us the stats, and we also had Scott Jennings talking about this issue and the split, the 80-20 split as well.
Being what is currently the dumbest strategy in politics, which is Democrats taking the 20% side of every 80-20 issue in America. USAID, people want this pared down. They want it streamlined. They want to know where the money is going. Democrats have a meltdown. Today, Donald Trump signs executive order on keeping boys out of girls' sports. Democrats take the 20 side of that issue as well. All these issues, this is like Trump's superpower, finding a bunch of 80-20 issues, getting on the 80, and everybody who's sort of reflexively against him gets on the 20. And now the Democratic Party has like a 31% approval rating. This is why.
Is it just me, or do you think that Alyssa Farah was looking at him lovingly? Like, he's kind of hot.
I mean, if she had any sense, she would be, but I don't know if she has any sense.
She's in the same room with him. But yeah, she's like, Scott Jennings.
Which reminds me that yesterday my husband was not watching the show live, but he did watch it after the fact. And he was like, was that really necessary? Did you really have to show the entire 2-minute David Beckham boss ad?
Yeah. And you were like, yes.
And I was like, didn't I though? Didn't I need to?
We needed to do that. Come on, Ron. Of course. It's like, and the question is, did Daisy have to watch it 52 more times after the show? Yes, Ron.
Yes.
Yes, I did. It's called research. Look it up. Okay.
Because to be fair, we played it without the music yesterday. So people needed everybody needed to go and see it with the music.
We had to see it with them. I had to watch it in the full context.
Right.
I'm just doing my job, Ron. That's all I'm doing.
Okay. Interesting news about, remember how it was not long ago where we were talking about, I don't know if we were talking about Davos or some other like convention that seems to happen. These things seem to happen constantly. There's like a G7 or a G20 or a G4 or like a whatever. I mean, there's always the G. There's so many G's, right?
It's like the line of Mazdas. You know what I mean? It's like, what are we doing? Yeah.
Like, I don't understand why there's so many. But now Marco Rubio, as Secretary of State, is taking a stand. He is not attending the G20 Summit in Johannesburg. He said South Africa is doing very bad things, expropriating private property, using the G20 to promote, quote, solidarity, equality, and sustainability. In other words, DEI and climate change.
That's right.
My job is to advance America's national interests, not waste taxpayer money or coddle anti-Americanism.
Right, right. And it's all about like, how much more money can we suck out of the American taxpayer?
Right?
I'm so glad that this administration is all about, you're not going to do that anymore. We're going to protect the American taxpayer. This is the first administration that I can ever remember in my lifetime that is putting us first. And they're like, we're going to go ahead and we're going to look and see what they're doing with your money. And if they're not using it appropriately, we're going to shut it down. And then Democrats are like, That's fascism. Like, what? What? Yeah,
They're so on the wrong side of everything right now.
Totally.
And it's so fun to watch it, honestly.
It's the meltdown. He has broken them.
Yeah, he really has.
They're all broken. And
which is incredible considering how much he warned everybody exactly what he was going to do.
Oh, yeah.
And they're like, what's happening? Why?
Yeah.
They're all shell shocked.
I think it's because they're so used to politicians lying to them constantly and saying the thing, getting up on podium, saying the things, and then they don't actually do the things, they love being lied to. Right. But then this guy, our guy, gets up on a podium and he's like, here's the tick list of all the things I'm going to do. And then he gets in and he does it. They cannot keep up because he's doing it. He's doing all the things and they just
love it.
And they're like, what? At warp speed,
You guys, exciting new challenge being given to you by none other than naturopathic Dr. Dennis Black, the creator of this amazing nutritional supplement for dogs and cats.
Oh my
Ruff Greens. So he is inviting everybody. If you're a current user of Ruff Greens, or maybe you haven't tried it yet, he's inviting you all to do the 90-day challenge. So here's what it's about. The Ruff Greens 90-day challenge, he thinks that what you're going to see if you start your dog on Ruff Greens in the first 30 days, you're going to notice shinier coats. You're going to notice increased energy. That's the first month. Then in month 2, by day 60, your dog is going to have a stronger immune system. They're going to have less shedding, and they're going to have improved joint function. And then at 90 days, they're going to have better digestion. They're going to have reduced inflammation, improved heart health, and you might have even lowered their cancer risk. Because one of the great things about having a nutritional supplement for your dog is that just like with us humans, these are things that support optimum health. And so, your dog's dry kibble is not going to do that on its own, which is why you want to be able to have all the extra minerals, nutrients, and vitamins that they need. And you can get all of that in Ruff Greens. Plus, they love the taste. So if you haven't tried it yet, try it for free. You can get a free Jumpstart trial bag by using code CHICKS, and you just cover shipping by going to ruffgreens.com. Again, that's code CHICKS at ruffgreens.com. Ruffgreens.com. All right. Speaking of Marco Rubio, as if things weren't already good enough with him not going to the G20, he has now decided that out of the 14,000 USAID employees, we only need a little bit less than 300.
God,
so he's going to reduce the agency. Can you imagine?
I can. It's so indicative of government, right? We're just so bloated. We're Twitterifying it, right?
Yes, exactly.
Kind of like when Elon went into Twitter and he's like, what exactly do you do here? And there's so many people that didn't do jack squat. And gosh, out of 14,000 people, you guys, we were paying these people.
Yeah. And then paying them to send our money to stupid shit.
To stupid shit. And this is, I'm just so glad. And if you are against this, raise your hand and then promptly punch yourself in the face.
Yeah, it makes no sense. It makes no sense.
Yeah, because that's your money. That is your money too.
Yeah. I don't think people are making, like the dumb people that are like mad at Elon right now, I don't think they're connecting those dots.
No.
You know what I mean? I don't think they're realizing that their money is helping pay for that. If there's tax increases, and there have been, it's because of paying for shit like this.
Yeah. Well, I see a lot of people, the liberals will fall into the whole, they've been lied to by media for years and they still trust the media. And the media is telling them, oh, Elon is using all this money as his personal bank account. And it's like, what? It's
just such nonsense.
Stop. Just stop it. Can you just stop? Because this is money saved. It's money that will help us with our debt and then hopefully go back in our pockets. That's the whole goal of this. I mean, if you look back at what our founders wanted, they didn't want any of this stuff.
Right.
And so it's just, and then you hear the left scream about, oh, the Constitution, this and Constitution. Are you kidding me? It's like all of this spending is completely unconstitutional. So this is so great what's happening here. It is like a reformation of everything in this country. Like, this is a great revival. It really is a great revival because we're getting on the path of where our founders wanted us to be, which is nice and lean, you know?
It's so good. It is so good. I mean, I feel bad for like all the people that are getting fired all over the place.
I
but
don't. Is that bad?
I mean, I feel a little bad. Just a little bit.
Maybe a tiny bit, but I mean, if you were doing something if you were not, if you weren't productive, I mean, the fact that like you weren't necessary and what were you doing all day? I can't feel bad for somebody, Miriam, if they weren't providing a service or some sort of value to an entity. I don't know. I've never been in a position where I've done that, where somebody said,
well, I'm talking about like, think about like just the secretary, for example, who just a secretary was looking for a job. There was a job opening for a secretary at USAID. She probably worked really hard. He or she probably worked really hard, typing up the memos, doing whatever they were asked to do. It's just, it's a regular person with a regular job that is not in charge of like where the money goes. They're just an administrative person. And I feel bad for like those people because
that person has a skill.
Jobs.
That person has a skill and they'll be able to find another job.
Yeah.
But when it comes to these other people who were just basically, I don't even know, what were they doing every day? That's a lot of people, you guys, a whole lot of people.
Yeah, like the administrators of programs, the people that were not paying attention to what the State Department was actually asking them to do, the ones that are being insubordinate, as Marco Rubio talked about. Yeah, I don't feel sorry for them at all.
I really don't. Yeah.
So if you were a person who's been concerned, rightly so, I think there's reasonable people who heard Donald Trump talking about owning Gaza a few days ago and were like, wait a minute, what does that mean? Does that mean troops on the ground? Like, what does that mean for our military? I think that that's a legit concern. And Trump seemed to clarify that in a tweet the other day or on Truth Social, whatever. And he said the Gaza Strip would be turned over to the United States by Israel at the conclusion of fighting. The Palestinians, people like Chuck Schumer, would have already been resettled in far safer and more beautiful communities with new and modern homes in the region. They would actually have a chance to be happy, safe, and free. The U.S., working with great development teams from all over the world, would slowly and carefully begin the construction of what would become one of the greatest and most spectacular developments of its kind on Earth. No soldiers by the U.S. would be needed. Stability for the region would reign. So that was encouraging.
Okay. I mean, we'll see.
What, you think he wants to send military there?
I don't know. I mean, that place is so whack.
It is whack. I know.
I don't know. I will believe it when I see it. I just don't.
I felt encouraged by this, just, with a military age son, anytime I see him saying, no U.S. soldiers needed, I'm like, okay.
Right. And that's obviously that's what we would want. I just don't. I mean, I would hope that there would be no military there, but that place is just so whack.
It's whack. The entire region is pretty whack.
The whole region is completely borked, as you would say. So,
well, hopefully he's started the conversations, right? Like and that's always a good thing. Yesterday, we were talking about how Bibi's gift to him was the golden pager. And now we actually have a photo of the actual present. And so here it is. It said, this is what it looked like. It's so nice. This is the golden beeper that Netanyahu gave to President Trump, like mounted in this wood pedestal thing. So that's what it looks like, in case you were curious about that.
I think that's what the kids call an epic flex. That's what they call it.
Is that right?
I don't know. They call it a flex. They call that a flex. Isn't that what the term is? Yeah. That's what he was flexing.
It seems like it works.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Also, another follow-up story. Yesterday, we were we shared a couple of tweets, the Twitter fight that was happening between Hillary Clinton and Sean Duffy about involving Elon and his team of nerds to modernize air traffic control and aviation computer type stuff. And so she was like, they're young, they don't have any experience. And Sean Duffy was like, bitch, sit down, basically. And so you were asking, well, did she say anything back to his retort? And yes, she did. And so we have a continuation of their fight. So the thing that she wrote yesterday was U.S. Airlines had gone 16 years without fatal crashes. Then MAGA fired the FAA chief, gutted the Aviation Security Advisory Committee, and threatened air traffic controllers with layoffs. Now there have been 2 fatal crashes. Hope your unvetted 22-year-olds fix things fast. That's what she wrote back to him yesterday.
Unreal.
And he was not going to let that stand. So please read, if you would, his response for our audience.
Okay. Well, he said, I know you're lashing out because DOGE is uncovering your family's obscene grifting via USAID, but I won't let you lie and distort facts. The FAA administrator announced he resigned over a month before Trump took office, and the air traffic controllers were always exempt from Trump's civil service buyouts. The previous administration shamelessly used US DOT as a slush fund for the new green scam, throwing away money and resources on wasteful environmental and social justice projects rather than updating our nation's antiquated air traffic control systems and other critical infrastructure. I'm returning this department to its mission of safety by using innovative technology in transportation and infrastructure. Your team had its chance and failed. We're moving on without you because the American people want us to make America's transportation system great again. And yes, we're bringing the 22-year-olds with us. I freaking love that so much. Yeah, it's going to leave a mark. And you know what else is he just engaged 22-year-olds. He just she just alienated like a whole group of young people, which he embraced. And seriously, when was the last time Republicans did that?
Democrats are awesome at it. Remember Kamala saying 18-year-olds are stupid.
Right. But we're starting to do that more and more. Like the younger generation is starting to be like, Democrats suck. And we're embracing them. So here comes a whole other generation of young people who are like, oh, Republicans? Yeah, I'm on board. I'm on board. Because
it's some good outreach, man.
Right. The Hillary Clintons and the Chuck Schumers and the Maxine Waters of the world, you know, that are just older than dirt. And they're like, the 22-year-olds can't do this. We want to do it because we're basically old and decrepit and senile. And then the 22-year-olds are like, really? And then Sean Duffy is saying, no, it's just we embrace you. We want you, you know?
If you've got talent, come on board.
Big mistake, Hillary. Huge.
There is a bisexual state rep in, I think, Michigan, if I'm not mistaken, who has decided because of Trump to sterilize herself. Here she is. Michigan State Rep Lori Pahutsky has announced that she has sterilized herself in protest against Trump, saying, quote, I refuse to let my body be treated as currency by an administration that only sees value in my ability to procreate.
Okay.
And I think she's done us all a huge ass favor.
This is fantastic. We applaud you. We applaud you, Lori.
Bravo.
Go. You go, Lori. Tell your friends to do it too. All your liberal friends.
Like this is, what do they call, this is like weird flex, but okay.
Totally. Go. You go for it. Please.
That's
I hope this catches on like wildfire.
It's just so dumb. Also, interesting news about Ibram Kendi. If you don't remember him, he is one of the biggest race grifters of all time in space. And he had a Center for Anti-Racist Research at Boston University, which is shutting down, laying off all of its staff. Kendi's center hoovered up tens of millions of dollars in grants, but produced virtually no actual work. So this is just one more BLM era grift that is coming to a close. This is according to Christopher Rufo.
I think Howard just hired him.
Are you serious?
Yeah, I think it was.
Why is anybody hiring him?
Well, because of what our nation is, you know. Yeah. But I think it was Howard. I'm almost positive it was Howard University. They're like, we'll go ahead and hire him.
Yeah, he's produced no results. Great, we'll take him.
Right.
Awesome. Okay.
Yeah.
Good luck.
Yeah.
Good luck with all of that.
Well, good luck to the students there who are going to be under his tutelage, right? I mean, this is like that's who should be concerned. Is anybody who pays tuition at a school where he's going to be teaching anybody anything. God help them. Yeah.
Remember how, we've always like made fun of all the different things that people have decided are racist, which are not. I mean, just like stupid things. We even wrote in our book about peanut butter and jelly sandwiches being called racist. Like there's been things called racist forever, but now there's a new trend of things being called bigoted or homophobic or even like gender phobic or whatever. And the latest thing that you need to know about is Legos, you guys. And the reason that Legos are problematic is because they have male or female parts that are made to mate with each other. That's how you put them together. There's male Lego parts and female parts, and like that's how they stick together. Therefore, that's super anti-LGBT. That's like gendered toys. And that's me.
I got nothing. These people are mentally ill.
This is why Republicans are going to keep winning. So
right. It's just okay. Yeah. Keep going. Just keep going with this absolute bullshit.
Please.
You are so mentally ill. Please seek help.
Seek help indeed. And if you're seeking help losing weight, we've got something for you. Look at this. This is from our friends at Brickhouse Nutrition, the same people that are responsible for the yummy Field of Greens beverage, which gives you all of your daily fruits and veggies if you're not eating them. If you are somebody who has struggled particularly with yo-yo dieting, this is a product that you might be interested in, because if you've lost weight before and then it's come back along with maybe some additional poundages, that's actually kind of dangerous for your health. And this is an alternative to the shots that a lot of people are fanatical about right now, but which come with a whole host of side effects. These supplements do not. So they have the same science. The natural ingredients target weight loss in 3 different ways: by maintaining healthy blood sugar, by controlling your appetite and cravings, and by burning fat by converting it into energy. So if you're tired of not seeing results and you don't want to like resort to the Ozempics or whatever, think about taking some lean, you guys. Lose weight the smarter way. You can visit takelean.com. That's takelean.com. And then the code, if you want to get 20% off your first order, is Chicks20, Chicks20 at takelean.com.
Melissa said it helps curb appetite. Yep. No tummy aches. It's great.
Yeah. It doesn't have any of those weird side effects. So yeah, check it out.
Yep.
All right. Let's talk about what's going on with confirmations. The Democrats are throwing tantrums and trying to delay everything. It's the only tool that they have in their tool belt at the moment, and it doesn't really accomplish anything but delay work from getting accomplished, which is so typical for Democrats. Here's a Fox News report about the Kash Patel confirmation being delayed.
Moments ago, the Senate Judiciary Chairman Chuck Grassley announcing that the committee vote for FBI Director nominee Kash Patel is delayed until next week, and he is criticizing his Democratic colleagues for dragging their feet. Listen here.
The Democrats are establishing a double standard by forcing us to meet this morning. Last Congress, Republicans routinely required the committee to meet in person. Did not require the committee to meet in person, just to hold over nominations. Republicans extended this courtesy at least 17 times last Congress, even when very controversial nominees were on the agenda.
It's just obstruction.
Yep. Anything that Republicans want to do, or under the Trump administration, they're going to be like, let's do the opposite. Let's play the opposite game. Because we hate him. He's orange.
Exactly. They have no reason to do this because ultimately he's going to get confirmed. And so why are they stalling? Just get it done. Move on to something actually worthwhile for Americans.
Yep.
But that's not what they do. And then worse yet, they're proud of and they brag about how they're employing these stall tactics. Senator Chris Murphy was bragging about how he was going to talk for hours. And then he was like, and my voice is sore. He even posted a photo of an energy drink and was like, I took the 2 a.m. to 5 a.m. shift because I don't even know. Like,
he's a hero.
Are we supposed to be super impressed by that? You loser.
Yeah. Here's your cape.
Yeah, here he is talking about trying to delay a vote on Russ Vought, who I think already got confirmed.
Behind me, the Senate Democratic effort to hold the floor overnight continues. That's Maggie Hassan from New Hampshire, who is speaking right now in the danger of Russ vote being confirmed to implement this enormous detailed plan to transition our democracy to something more resembling autocracy, to hand billions of dollars to billionaires taken out of the pockets of middle class and poor people in this country. I took the 2 a.m. Actually, I was on the floor about 1 a.m., so about 1 a.m. to 5 a.m. shift. I slept on my couch for about 2 hours of
Nobody
fitful
cares.
sleep. I'm back up and headed off campus right now to talk about the danger of Trump's foreign policy. We don't rest. We don't rest. This is an urgent moment. We have days or weeks to be able to mount an effective opposition to stop this slide away from democracy. And so I thank all my colleagues who have been part of this important night, and we're going right back at it today.
Yeah, he doesn't rest, you guys. He doesn't rest. He works like 170 days a year, but he doesn't rest. Bless
Stunning
his heart.
and brave.
So stunning and brave. God, shut up. Like he's wanting to get sympathy from the American people for being an obstructionist and acting as if there's nobody else out here that works for a living. Oh my God. Up yours, dude.
Oh no, you had to sleep on your couch?
Oh,
no.
You had to get up at 1? Oh my God. Ask any mom if she's ever done that.
I mean, these people and their
Not.
self-congratulatory
Right.
nonsense.
You're welcome for your huge salary and your benefits. I'm sorry you had to get up at 1 a.m. I mean, like, whatever.
Also, we talked yesterday about how much Pam Bondi was up and at him. Like day one, she was already doing all of the things. And so here's a little summary of some of the stuff that she wanted to do on day one. And so she included orders to combat, and this is important for a clip we're about to show in a bit. She included orders to combat the weaponization of the legal system, make prosecutors seek the death penalty where appropriate, and work with the Department of Homeland Security to completely eliminate cartels and transnational criminal organizations. So the first part is what is important here, because she basically created a task force to examine how the DOJ has been weaponized up to this point and how we can make sure that it never gets weaponized again.
Yeah.
And because Mazie Hirono is such a colossal idiot, she decided to interpret that as Pam Bondi creating a task force to weaponize the DOJ.
Oh my God.
That's how stupid Mazie Hirono is. Take a listen.
These are scary times. And then to find out, they talk about, oh, we're so concerned about the FBI and the DOJ having been weaponized during the Biden years. If anybody is weaponizing these two agencies, it's the people who are about to take over. And I note that the Pam Bondi, she just created a weaponizing task force. What the heck is that?
What the heck is that? Scotch. Wine and scotch. God, she's drunk.
White House Comms Director Steve Chung said Mazie Hirono is one of the most unserious goofballs in Congress. And I think that's absolutely right.
It's actually really nice. I think
It's
that's
pretty
very
nice.
nice to Mazie. Yeah.
I hate that she has the same name as my dog.
I know.
I hate it.
I really do too. I hate it too. Oh my gosh.
Speaking of Pam Bondi, she was on one of the news shows to talk about this pause that she has on stopping federal aid to sanctuary cities and states. She means business. Like, she is not messing around. Here she is to talk about that.
And I'm proud to be part of that.
I'm glad to hear that. Let me start with you've cracked down on sanctuary cities. The DOJ has put a pause on all federal funding to sanctuary cities and states. You filed a lawsuit against Chicago and the state of Illinois for being a sanctuary city. Am I wrong in my interpretation that a sanctuary city is aiding and abetting in lawbreaking?
Sean, what they're doing is they are choosing illegal aliens over the safety and security of their own citizens and the men and women of law enforcement who are out there trying to protect their citizens. Not only did we sue today the city of Chicago, we sued the state of Illinois, we sued the mayor, we sued the governor, and we sued others. And let me be very clear, if you don't comply with federal law, you're going to be next.
Love it.
God, I love her.
Love it.
Uh-huh.
So many
great.
just like tough, mean business people in this administration.
Yeah.
It's amazing.
Has anybody heard from Mark Cuban lately?
He actually did. I did. There was a huge diatribe that he posted on Twitter, and now I can't remember what it was. It was about transparency. He's like, Elon better be transparent with all of the uncovering of the expenditure. And Elon's been tweeting like literally every second about what they're uncovering. So
I thought maybe he would have something to say about the not strong, not intelligent women that were surrounding Trump.
I don't think he's
Mark.
mentioned that.
He's not really. He's not talking about that right now.
Not
Jerk.
mentioning that. Surprise.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so we talked, I guess, early last week or even earlier this week about the buyout offer, the memo that a lot of these federal employees got saying you got to show up to work, like you actually have to come into the office.
That's mean.
Or
it's mean.
Or you can accept an 8-month buyout. You can get paid for
gosh.
8 months and you can resign. And so apparently the numbers of people who had already said, yeah, I'm going to resign, I'm going to take the buyout, was somewhere between 40 and 60,000 people. But then there was a lawsuit that has now put all of this on hold because ultimately the deadline was going to be like tonight. And now that's been pushed off until Monday. And we're starting to find out why.
And we got some breaking news and a Fox News alert now on that employee buyout program we were speaking to Karoline Leavitt about at the top of the hour. The number when we were speaking to her had been marked at 40,000 employees had decided to take the buyout. That number has now increased to 60,000. But there's a wrinkle because unions representing federal workers had gone to court in Boston saying that this was an unconstitutional move by the president to offer this buyout, that any buyout would have to be authorized by Congress. Judge George O'Toole, who's a federal district judge up there in Boston, has put a temporary injunction on the midnight deadline for employees to submit whether or not they're going to take the buyout. He has now extended that until Monday at the very least. Again, these federal unions are saying that any kind of buyout like that would have to be authorized by Congress, and also argues that what the Trump plan is here is to replace career civil servants with, quote, partisan loyalists. But as far as we know from the president and Elon Musk, the plan is to downsize the civil service by about 100,000, if not more.
So it's not about replacing them. We just want them gone.
The fact that we have federal unions is that is obscene to me. Honestly, why do we have that?
And and these unions are actually not allowing their own members to make decisions about their own jobs.
That's unconstitutional. Our founders are like, I'm sorry, WTF? What is going on? You guys, we're so out of control. We're so bloated. Our government is so out of control. Federal
and that's all they're trying to do is shrink it. And everybody should be in favor of that. But it means, as Nick Sorter pointed out, union bosses are scared. They're going to lose out on dues. Because when you shrink the federal workforce, who's going to pay in to the member dues, right?
Yeah,
and so that's
money.
what this is all about.
All about money.
It's ridiculous. This is when I subject you to the Rachel Maddow clip. So there was also a buyout offered to GSA employees, and one of Elon's DOGE people was doing a video call to all these employees, explaining to them what their options were, and she is so tickled by how they responded to this DOGE person. She thinks this is some sort of sick burn, I guess.
Uh-huh.
And it's so dumb, you guys, but here is her little moment of glee about it.
One of the things that happened today happened at the General Services Administration, GSA.
Her face.
One of Musk's guys held a video meeting with a whole division of employees at the GSA. And Musk's guy was telling them at this video meeting, this video conference, that they really ought to consider this fork in the road offer. That's what they're calling it. This fork in the road offer that demands their resignations and threatens them if they don't do it. In this video conference with Musk's guy, the employees there at GSA responded, I don't know, am I allowed to say they responded beautifully? Is that okay? Quote,
an idiot.
His assurances did not appear to work. Employees in the division then rained down spoon emojis.
A sick burn.
In the chat that accompanied the video meeting, which was watched by more than 600 people, according to photos of the chat screen provided to the Times and 3 people familiar with the reaction. Some employees then added spoon emojis to their statuses on Slack.
My God, that's so clever.
Oh, you want us to take your fork in the road?
Yeah.
Oh, you do? You think we should take this fork in the road? How about fork you? Here's 1 million spoon emojis.
That'll show them.
They think people are just going to roll over and go along with them while they destroyed the government? Really?
God.
People weren't going to get mad and also get creative and also laugh in your face?
I just cannot believe how dumb this is.
I'm embarrassed for her. I'm really embarrassed for her. These people would fight a civil war with emojis, you guys. That's what they would do with their purple hair.
Yeah.
And their like piercings all up in their nose and emojis. They'd be like, we got emojis. Take that. I'm embarrassed. I'm embarrassed for her. I am.
It's really, really dumb.
And he's broken her too. He's absolutely broken her. And I am there for it. I'm just she's on her way out, man. No more like what, $23 million a year, whatever you get for one night of work. She's irritated too. She's she's living through them, through the GSA employees and all these other people, because she knows that she too is on her way out. End of an era, man.
Yeah, this is a beautiful time.
It is. It's
beautiful
a wonderful time to be alive, isn't it? Yes.
And new Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent sat down with a journalist to set some things straight because, of course, there's all these media rumors that are going around saying Elon Musk has access to the Treasury, to all of your records at the Treasury. And so he wanted to set the record straight. Here he is.
U.S. Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent in Washington. Mr. Secretary, thank you for joining me.
So good to see you.
Mr. Secretary, we are inside the cash room at the Treasury Department. It is almost impossible to overstate how important the work that is done in this building is to the U.S. financial system. Yet right now, there is widespread concern about the DOGE team's access to sensitive payment systems. Are you worried at all that that access and that tinkering of the payment systems could affect the Treasuries market or cause any disruption?
Good. Well, Saleha, thank you for asking me about that because there's a lot of misinformation out there. First of all, when you say the DOGE team, these are Treasury employees. It is 2 Treasury employees, one of whom I personally interviewed in his final round. There is no tinkering with the system. They are on read-only. They are looking. They can make no changes. It is an operational program to suggest improvement. So we make 1.3 billion payments a year. And this is 2 employees who are working with a group of longstanding employees.
Yeah. But I mean,
everybody calm down.
The left is they're so into misinformation and disinformation, but by God, they put it out there, don't they?
Mm-hmm.
That's all you see.
Oh my God.
From liberals.
It's hysteria.
It's mass hysteria from these people. They have your personal information. I hope you're happy with the consequences. I'm just like, okay, calm down. Just calm down, Brenda. Because they're wrong. You need to send them that clip. Just send them our show.
Yeah.
Just
send them our show.
Send them
Share our show.
Do that.
Also, watching this segment, these 3 women, I think it's 3. Yeah, because Kara Swisher's on video. These 3 women at CNN lamenting that one of the DOGE guys calls himself Big Balls. And the fact that they had to report on this gives me endless glee. Okay. Mm-hmm. It is so funny watching them try to talk about this seriously.
The Chiron. It's on the Chiron.
And the Chiron. And then to your point earlier, they're constantly denigrating young people, making these assumptions that young people cannot have anything to offer, that they cannot have any knowledge or expertise, which is so insulting, right? Especially when you consider like the video that we showed earlier in the week of one of those employees who could run circles around some of these journalists. But anyway, here is the report about big balls.
19-year-old high school graduate who has used the unfortunate nickname Big Balls online. So that would be one way that we could refer to him. He is now working at Musk's behest inside DOGE. And we looked into his background. And so we found, several notable things, Aaron, one of which is that this individual has founded multiple companies, including one with another unfortunate name, Tesla.Sexy LLC, which he established in 2021. He would have been around 16 years old. Now, this LLC controls dozens of web domains.
So, Kara, you hear this, and you have known Elon Musk for years. So now you look at these young men who are now in data and in the private information about maybe hundreds of millions of American citizens as young as 19, the big balls here that Katie's talking about. Most of them are in their early 20s. There's an exception I'm going to get to in a minute. I'm curious, though, Kara, how well does even Musk know these young men, do you think?
I have no idea. I think there was no vetting whatsoever, as you can see, that's taken place. It took Katie and the really great team. Wired has done an astonishing job here. I could make a joke that's probably why he was hired for all this ridiculous nonsense and other nefarious things. But, there's an expression in technology that's it's a feature, not a bug.
These broads are fun at parties, aren't they? It's like, you just imagine, like, the best is when she's like, it's just the most unfortunate name. And meanwhile, Mock and I are like, this is the stark difference between those chicks and us is like, we're like, that's the best freaking name ever.
Yes.
I would be friends with these guys.
And if they're setting up LLCs that run a bunch of web domains at age 16, maybe you should give them the benefit of the doubt that they know some things.
Just a little bit, lady. Just a little. And Elon actually retweeted that clip where they're like sitting there with the Chiron that had big balls in it. And he's like, this is happening in real life. Like, these people are, I think it was along those lines, but he was like, I cannot believe that these chicks are discussing this. Like, it is astounding. Again, it's a great time to be alive. It
really is.
It's wonderful.
Because she is our girl, Karoline Leavitt. We got to have some Karoline Leavitt today. She was on Fox, I believe, to talk about, again, the hysteria that's happening, the overreaction about this look into USAID and why, again, a reminder for people why this is all happening.
Going through the federal government line by line and making this government more efficient is one of those priorities and one of those promises that President Trump made. And as you just cited, John, 56% of Americans support freezing foreign aid. And I read a fascinating article in the Washington Post today. They interviewed voters in Pennsylvania, and all of them said that they support President Trump and Elon Musk's efforts to make this government more efficient. What President Trump and Elon Musk and this entire administration is trying to do is make our bloated bureaucracy here in Washington run like a profitable business. And every agency has been tasked with going line by line and ensuring that the American taxpayers' money is aligned with the American people's interests. It's a common sense solution to fixing a decades-old problem of bloated bureaucracy, waste, fraud, and abuse. And the vast majority of Americans support it. So the Democrats can hoot and holler all they want. This White House will stay committed to delivering on President Trump's priorities and being good stewards of the hardworking American people's tax dollars.
God bless them. Hashtag hoot and holler.
She's so good.
She is. There's nobody better. I thought McEnany, I thought, okay, she was there. I mean, she set the bar, right?
Yeah, she was great.
This chick, she was like, hold my beer. You know what I mean? I got this.
Just incredible. I mean, she
really
said all
is.
of that without notes, without a binder, without looking at anything. She just said the things.
And she's 27.
Yeah.
Imagine what is she going to be like at 37?
I'm afraid of her.
I mean, everybody better watch out. And imagine at 47. We are going to see great things from this chick.
For
great
real.
Things. Mm-hmm.
Speaking of super highly competent blondes, Natalie Winters did a report on the War Room about some of the USAID funding and how it was funding like 90% of Ukraine's media. So this is freaking batshit. Here, take a listen to this.
But here's where it gets really dark. Because right now, Ukraine, there's reporting 9 out of 10 media outlets in Ukraine are funded by USAID. Otherwise, they would not exist. That's a Ukraine foreign minister's own words, not mine. Noor Maizen has been screaming in the Brookings Institution and the mainstream media. There's a piece we can put on screen, quote, investigative journalism is essential for Ukraine reconstruction and anti-corruption. They have used the weaponization of journalism through USAID and all of these foreign countries, not to expose or dox autocratic leaders, but to defend themselves and be the Praetorian Guard for the corrupt activities that they've been engaging in. Because you know why, Steve, USAID wants to be funding the journalists on the ground in Ukraine? Because they want the concept of controlled opposition. They don't want the audits. They don't want actual reporters who are going to be digging in to the what? I guess it's now just $77 billion, but what was nearly $200 billion in aid. They want to be controlling the journalists, controlling the messaging, and USAID has been the platform through which they've done that, just like they tried to control President Trump with the first impeachment. But now they know Ukraine audits are probably coming. That gravy train's ending. So they are in full-blown meltdown and panic because they know that they're not going to be able to control the narrative.
Oh, they don't want the audits? That sounds really familiar, doesn't it? Yeah, it's they cannot control the narrative anymore, you guys. Like everybody's panicking all over the place.
And that's why because they can't. And that is why that's the reason for the panic.
And everything's happening so quickly. They're just freaking out. They're so used to just having complete control, and they've lost it. Like it's gone. And that's why you see all these people standing on podiums and the Chuck Schumers and all these yahoos and the Elizabeth Warrens. They are losing their minds because they no longer have control. And now we're like, we're going to go ahead and we're going to look behind the curtain, and we're going to see all the nasty crap that you've been doing to the American people, like on their backs. They're losing their minds. And I'm there for it.
And then we've got some of the biggest media players ever, like the Joe Rogans of the world. Also, on top of the fact that they can't control the message, he's also piling on and exposing the gaslighting like he did with you, Bernie. What do you got a hold?
Easy to watch all these left-wing people suddenly. Bernie Sanders making a post about how Donald Trump is trying to silence independent media was the wildest fucking gaslighting I think I've ever seen from a politician. Independent media? You mean fucking CBS? You mean CBS that edited that Kamala Harris interview to make it look like she had a really good point?
100%. And then I don't know if you caught Alex Soros reposting this claim that basically you have an unelected cabal wielding power. I mean, that's
you.
Yeah,
that's you, Alex. That's your dad. This is crazy.
Yeah, no, it's a very, very strange historical moment.
Also, it's like you haven't addressed any of the exposed corruption. All you're talking about is the horrors of dismantling this amazing organization. What about all the shit that they've uncovered? There's not even a counter argument. Like, no, we need to fund gender fluid dance in fucking Turkey. like, what are you talking about? We need $200 million for Starbucks Keurig cups. What?
I know. It's just crazy. Now, he was a Bernie bro once upon a time. He backed Bernie, you guys. That guy, everybody needs to remember that. But see, the difference between Rogan and a lot of other liberals is that Rogan, he will see the truth and then he internalizes it and he's like, I'm going to shift course. You know, I see it for what it is and I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to change my mind about some things. Whereas other liberals are like, that I can't do that. I'm just going to dig my heels in and I'm going to double, triple, and quadruple down. And I'm going to continue to just pretend that I can't see the actual truth. Like he saw it and then he says it out loud. So yeah,
to millions and millions and millions of people.
Right.
That's what's got the Democrats all in a tizzy, because Jake Tapper, he can talk to his 35,000 people or whatever, but he doesn't even come close. None of them do. None of the legacy media comes close to what alternative media is reaching. And it's amazing. It's absolutely amazing.
It is.
Nancy Mace, representative from right here in my county in South Carolina, also talked about funding for incredibly ridiculous animal experimentation, all in the name of gender ideology. This was disgusting. And she had an expert from like White Coat Exposure. I can't remember the name of the organization, which looks into federal funding that hurts animals for literally no reason. So he was there to testify in this hearing. So I'll just let both of those clips run together. This is the clip about trans mice.
The White Coat Waste Project exposed more than $10 million in taxpayer funds that were spent creating transgender mice, rats, and monkeys. These DEI grants funded painful and deadly transgender experiments that forced lab animals to undergo invasive surgeries and hormone therapies at universities across the country. For example, the Biden-Harris administration spent $2.5 million taxpayer dollars to study the fertility of transgender mice.
My God.
Let that sink in. We spent over $2 million studying the fertility of transgender mice. $1.1 million was spent to find out if female rats receiving testosterone therapies to mimic transgender men were more likely to overdose on a party drug, commonly used in the LGBTQ community to induce drug-fueled what's called, quote, chemsex. I asked my staff what was chemsex and the chemical, and I guess it's something called GHB, which is a date rape drug, and also a drug that's used recreationally. So we spent over $1 million to find out if female rats receiving testosterone therapy were more likely to overdose on a date rape drug.
Oh my God.
Like, that's what your taxpayer dollars were being spent on. Federal funds were also used to identify at least $10 million in NIH grants for transgender animal experiments. You state that 95% of the funding came from Dr. Fauci's NIAID. Why is the federal government spending taxpayer dollars to create transgender animals?
It's a great question.
Your microphone.
Thank you. It's a great question. I mean, I wonder why they're making cats constipated also. It's a question that rings around in my head at night when I'm going to bed, why we're funding these things. A lot of the programs that are funded do latch on to some type of social trend, and then animal experimenters use it as a money grab, as an excuse to get NIH tax funds from some, in this case, DEI grants were used to fund a lot of this stuff. So people who abuse animals find some kind of excuse to bring in new money, and they'll switch their research program over to something that's trendy to bring tax dollars into their university. I mean, that's part of the big problem here, is that colleges and universities are taking 25 to 40% off the top of every single one of these grants for indirect costs that go into a slush fund that has nothing to do with the research. So they're willing to let experimenters do whatever they want to animals to keep the money flowing in.
Oh my God, it's just outrageous. Meanwhile, we have people in North Carolina that are still living in tents. People in Maui who are still homeless. There are veterans that are homeless.
Sick.
We have homeless children in this country, American homeless children. And it's outrageous, completely outrageous. Can I, point of personal privilege, there is a person in our comments named Jake.
Yeah.
Who needs to go.
Jake.
Do you guys see Jake? This guy, I got to tell you, Jake, I would love for you to come to my house and ask me what you're asking.
What? What did he say? I can't find him.
He's asking us to show us. He's like, show me your tits, is what he's saying.
Are you serious? All I see is him. Is it the same guy that's saying goodbye, Mexicans? Okay,
oh my God. He has been saying, he said it like 50 times. I would love for you to come to my house and ask that of me to my face. And we'll see how that works out for you. Seriously, you're such a keyboard piece of crap. Yeah.
Find me a woman that works on. You absolute loser.
He thinks he's being like funny, or I don't even know what you think you're being,
God.
but how dare you piece of crap. You would never say that to a woman's face. You're a coward. I dare you.
Now.
Yeah.
He's
anyway.
Gone. Okay, so moving on, because that's horrible. I don't want to talk about animals being abused that way.
No.
There is, and I think we alluded to this yesterday, there's a great man on the street interview. People who are opposed to Trump, they don't like the orange man. So they're being asked about this pause in funding, and at first they're like, yeah, this is wrong. This is so wrong. But then they're told about actually some of the funding and like what it's going towards. And you see some of them coming to their senses. Now, there's a woman at the end who absolutely does not, and she is batshit. But some of them, at least when you give them specifics, they seem to come around. Check it out.
Yeah. President Trump recently paused a lot of aspects of our foreign aid. What do you think about this? Do you think it's a good idea? Bad idea?
Terrible idea.
Hell no, it's not a good idea.
Pretty awful idea.
He's selfish.
It's kind of bad.
I think it's reckless. Do you think it's important that we spend money on some of the things we are, like, for example, $20 million going towards a Pakistani version of Sesame Street? You think that's a good use of our foreign aid and taxpayer dollars?
Well, I think they just need to, like, reevaluating some of
the
things.
Isn't that what Trump's doing by putting the pause on?
It's basically it.
Good investment of our taxpayer money?
Probably not, no.
Do you think it's a good usage? No, you don't. It's stupid.
Trump is the one putting an end to that.
Yeah, I am aware of that. I'm aware of that. Maybe that's good.
It's actually making us less safe.
A little bit of a pause to figure out what's in the budget isn't that outrageous.
We may have to start a draft.
What about, for example, the $75,000 going towards a DEI musical in Ireland?
I've got $75,000 in my checking account, lady. That's not...
Oh my gosh.
I don't know why our money's going there.
That's kind of cool, honestly. Have you seen it?
But a lot of 75Ks add up to billions.
Okay.
What about $20 million going towards a Pakistani version of Sesame Street? It's quite a lot of money.
So Pakistan is bad now?
Do you think that helps our national security?
I believe you, first of all. Second of all, it does help our national security.
Could you hold it up? DOGE.
Of course, President Musk needs to be impeached. What authorization does he have to shut down agencies?
Everyone knew Musk and Trump were partners, and the American people still voted for Trump.
Your country has been acquired by X Corp. I hope you're happy.
I'm delighted.
What a psycho.
I'm completely. She has $75,000 in her bank account, you guys. Like,
in just her checking account.
Yeah. So what's the big deal if the government wastes money? Can't you see the correlation? Can't you see?
God. People. What a psycho. She embodies, what's the new word for Karen? Margaret. She is the new Margaret. Yeah.
We really don't care, Margaret.
There are a lot of great parody accounts out there who are talking about USAID and pretending to be employees who have been fired from USAID. And here is a great one.
I was just laid off from USAID. It's been a rough day. For the past 3 years, I've been working with carrier pigeons in Madagascar to recognize the difference between the name brand Doritos and the generic, like, Great Value brand.
Right.
I've spent over $72 million on this project, and I was literally on the verge of a breakthrough, and the funding has been cut.
It's unreal. It's so heartbreaking.
I know I'm going to get through this, but I would ask that you would send prayers and thoughts and, you know, can also Venmo me if you feel the need.
No.
And also just respect my privacy at this time. It's been tough.
She should start a GoFundMe. Yeah. Respect her privacy, but do it like you do Meghan Markle.
Right.
You know,
and
like
call it privacy.
Right. Call it privacy and don't really respect it at all. Give her a lot of attention.
But I mean, like, she went to the craziest possible lengths, but that's what we're spending money on.
Totally.
Like, just as crazy shit. Like, the stuff that we're actually spending money on sounds just as crazy.
We probably actually did that.
Yeah. I mean, that's the thing. Yes. So yes, that was parody, but But the fact that it's so close to what is actually happening is crazy.
We're spending money on trans mice, you guys.
Right. It's like people are all up in the comments going, that was a joke. That was parody. I know. That's what we said before we even played it. I don't know how many times we can say it.
It was a joke, but it wasn't really. Okay.
Right.
We're spending money on trans mice, you guys. I mean, just absorb that. Take it in. Okay.
I mean, for crying out loud, I gave all the disclaimers.
Yeah. All you got to do is look at, and this is the thing, like Rand Paul is shaking his head going, I've been telling you guys for years with the Festivus report. I've been telling you. What do you think it is? It's all a bunch of crap. Screaming it from the top of my lungs. Yep.
All right. We now know that for the next White House Correspondents' Dinner, the comedian that they're like going to use to roast President Trump and everybody that Democrats hate is Amber Ruffin. I think she's an SNL person. I barely recognized her when I saw a clip from her. She seemed vaguely familiar, but also deeply unfunny. But this is who they have chosen. And so Karoline Leavitt was asked in her presser yesterday if President Trump plans to attend. And here is what she said.
The WHCA announced that comedian Amber Ruffin, who has called the president a toddler with his pants pulled down, will be the entertainment for this year's Correspondents' Dinner. Does the White House have a reaction to this choice? And will the president be attending the dinner this year?
Certainly an interesting choice. I have the president's invitation on my desk. I have the invitation for myself on my desk as well. Haven't talked to the president about it. When he makes his decision, I will let you all know. But definitely an interesting choice of the comedian. I'll talk to the boss about it and see what we decide.
Did you know that Saturday Night Live is turning 50? I think this month.
Is that right?
Yeah, 50 years old.
Wow.
You guys believe that? 50. It makes me feel old, but also you got to look at where they started and where they are now and how completely unfunny and crappy that show is now. It's like, I don't watch it at all. I couldn't tell you one cast member that's on it. Not one.
Yeah, I have no idea.
Yeah, I don't either. And I mean, I think the last time I watched it like consecutively was probably in the early 2000s, maybe. I don't know. Is that when like Will Ferrell was on it and stuff?
I don't know. I haven't watched literally since it was Jane Curtin and Gilda Radner.
Right.
I mean, that's when it was good.
God, I love Gilda Radner. I know.
I know.
It's like this is the thing is that it used to be funny and then now
it's not.
Funny.
So Amber Ruffin, Jake Tapper had her on his show and he was asking her, like, what's her plan? Does she want Trump to be there? And she's just, you can tell from this very brief cut from this interview that she's just a detestable person and not funny. Here's a little bit of the interview.
However, Donald Trump never went to it during his first term in office. Do you want him to be there this year?
No, don't nobody want to know. No one wants that. I mean, sure, it's something to do. Look, I can't imagine he would. I can't imagine he would. He should. He's missing out on one of the cool things about being the president of the United States.
Oh, okay.
I don't know that anyone's looking forward to being in the same room as him. Is better. They also said that you have to make fun of everybody. You can't just make fun of the people you disagree with. You have to spread it out evenly. And I'm not going to do that.
Oh my gosh.
Maybe I'll do it a little bit. Probably not.
Oh, then he should totally go.
Right? I mean, why would he go?
Oh my God. What? Yeah. She's a clown.
Oh my gosh.
These people. She seems awful.
And that's another play. That's just like a giant echo chamber circle jerk. You know what I mean?
Totally.
That whole affair is just so filled with elitist people who have still no idea why they lost.
Right.
No idea.
And the last one of those that I remember is the one that we made fun of that Ashley Judd went to, and I wore the giant flower to make fun of her. Do you remember? We got to dig that up. We have to dig that up and play that sometime, like in the near future, just to like reminisce. Because God, these people are insufferable. And she doesn't get it. It's like, oh, I'm supposed to make fun of everybody, but I'm not going to do that. I'm just going to make fun of Donald Trump because I have learned nothing.
Nothing. Yeah. So I don't think he should attend. It just seems like a huge waste of time.
Totally.
Let all the losers be at their little party together, and we'll make fun of them after.
They can pat themselves on the back and give them awards, themselves awards. It's like jerks. Whatever.
A lot of people are calling Lindy Li a huge grifter because she was a major Democrat fundraiser. I mean, all the way up through Kamala's presidential run. And then towards the end realized Democrats suck. And so now she's going on all of these different talk shows and talking about how bad things were when Biden was still in the presidency, how corrupt a lot of the process was. Now she's talking about it and, of course, making money off of it. So people don't know whether to trust her or not. But she is providing some very interesting intel about what it was like in the White House after Biden screwed up colossally in that debate that he had with Trump. That's when everything started shifting, when Pelosi moved to kick him out. But here is who was actually involved and in charge. This should scare everybody.
Debate, Hunter basically commandeered the White House. He sat in on all the White House top-level meetings. You had a former cocaine addict sitting in on the most sensitive meetings of the most consequential and important government in world history. Does that sit right with you?
No.
Without security clearance, mind you. No security clearance. That's who was basically running the show. So Hunter basically battened down the hatches after the debate to make sure that his father would only receive intel that he pre-approved.
And they're worried about Elon.
Wow. Right?
They're worried about Elon Musk, like doing an audit, and Hunter was running the country. Dude, that did unspeakable things on film, comes in, is like doing lines of coke and like running the country. It's fine. Everything was fine, you guys. It was totally fine. He loves the son. He's a good dad. He's
the smartest person Joe Biden knows.
He is. And Joe Biden was a great dad. He's a really great grandfather, except for that one grandkid he doesn't recognize. But otherwise, he's a great grandfather. That's just he's a great grandfather too. Wow.
Yikes. Big yikes.
Yeah, yikes is right.
And then, of course, we all know what happened. Pelosi made the moves. She made sure that Joe Biden was out and that Kamala was in. And people are still asking her questions about it. Even though Andrea Mitchell is on her way out of MSNBC, she had Nancy Pelosi on and asked her a couple things. First of all, whether she's talked to Biden, because Biden is still out there saying, I could have won. And so I'll just let both of these clips run together because Nancy still has not had contact with Joe Biden.
First Lady Jill Biden has spoken out saying she was disappointed in you. Is there any way to patch that up? Have you spoken to the former president?
Well, I certainly hope so. No, I haven't. But the fact is that we're all on a mission for the American people, for America's working families. My whole passion about being in politics is for the children. So what is it that we're doing for the children? I think that it would have been important for the children to not have Donald Trump be president of the United States. And that is, I would take every step necessary to make sure that didn't happen, but it did. And now we have to deal with it. And in about 6 or 7 months, you're going to see such a change. By the time we start our campaigns in this fall, for next fall, you're going to see a very different picture about the Democrats vis-a-vis Donald Trump.
Oh, okay.
President Biden has said that he thinks he could have won if he hadn't been pressured to step down. Do you agree?
Well, all I know is that we won a seat in the House. We did not lose any seats. You know, people were like, "Whoa, the Democrats lost." No, we did not. I think it would have been quite different with President Biden at the top of the ticket.
I feel like I'm watching a Boniva commercial. I'm serious. Like they're so, you know what I mean? Oh my God. Anyways, she's worried about the children. Like seriously, Nancy, you're worried about, what about the children that have been killed by illegals? Were you worried about them?
Again,
are you worried about all the kids that, I don't know, are homeless? Are you worried about all of the kids that are living
Trafficked?
in tents in North Carolina. You're worried about exactly the 300,000+ kids that were trafficked in. I don't remember ever hearing her worried about those kids. There's a lot of kids out there that are hurting by this economy, the one that the Democrats put forth. I mean, it's like, shut up about the kids. You don't care about the kids. What about the kids that are unborn because of abortion that you support? And you're Catholic. Give me a break. The kids. She's so full of crap.
There's not going to be any making up between Nancy Pelosi and Joe Biden. That relationship is
And
donezo.
Jill, it's like daggers. You know, Jill is even worse. Like Joe forgets, you know, because he doesn't know where he is.
Right.
So he probably has like moments where he's like, oh, I love Nancy still, right? Oh, I don't? Because Jill's like, no, you don't. You don't love her.
You
know?
definitely don't.
But Jill, daggers.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Remember yesterday when we showed the clip of Al Green once again bringing impeachment up in the House?
Like the
this
shenanigans.
is his, yeah,
and
this is his
hullabaloo and
favorite.
tomfoolery. Yeah.
Well, it was really about the dastardly deeds.
The dastardly deeds.
That's why
Right.
he wants
Done
to
dirt
impeach
cheap.
Donald Trump.
Mm-hmm.
So he was on C-SPAN, I guess, to talk about how important it is to get people on the impeachment train. And then a caller called in from Savannah, Georgia, and let him have it. And this was kind of fun to watch.
It should be because he's unfit to be president. Unfit. And when these impeachment signs start going up around the country, when people see these signs, I assure you, the pressure's going to be on Congress to do something.
Get to calls because the lines have lit up. Richard in Savannah, Georgia, Republican. You're up first, Richard.
Thank you. I watched you yesterday with the Democrat Party out protesting everything that Elon Musk is trying to do for the American people. The USAID is a 100% a money laundering scheme. All y'all have is impeachments and race and gender, et cetera, and you actually do nothing for the people of America today. I think the Democrats should sit back and let America see what it's like to reduce the people in government, the wasteful spending. And all y'all can do is just complain and be negative.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And he's like, I don't understand what you're saying right now. I've never.
Yeah, that face, that whole time was like,
no one's ever told me that before. I don't understand. Yeah. They're not used to this. They're not used to having control. Having control. Yeah.
They are not used to it. This is a whole new ball game right now.
It is.
And it is awesome.
Mm-hmm.
All right. We're going to talk about race for just a little bit because we've got several clips related to it. And one of them I've just had kind of on the back burner forever and didn't have a really good time to play it. But I thought, you know what? Today's the day. If you saw the headline of today's show, you would notice that I had typed WWBWD. And now you're going to find out what that stands for.
I've decided my mantra for now on is this. WWBWD. What would black women do?
Okay.
I read about them. I study their history. I follow many of you on TikTok. And they just do life with excellence. They do life with empathy, with passion, with heart, with soul. I want to emulate that. I admire them so much. And whenever I'm faced with any problem, whether it's personal, financial, relationships, my heart, my soul, my mind, I just have to ask, what would black women do? Because when they organize, they change the world.
That is psychotic.
What is she doing?
Some black women are great at all of those things, and some are not. Because as individuals, people have certain great traits and certain not so great traits. Why is this such a hard concept for lefties?
Right. Some white women are and some white women aren't. Some Asian women are and some Asian women aren't. Some Latino, yeah, it's because she's pandering. That's what she's doing.
That was like the most pandery.
She's very, very pandery. Just enough.
And when white women like invoke Black women in any way. It's so cringe.
It is
right?
very, very cringe. Like, just stop it, lady.
It's so cringe. And Brandon Strzok, our friend Brandon Strzok, did a Man on the Street interview at like the latest protests, the Elon protests, and all of whatever protests that were happening. Brandon went and found specifically a couple of women who were holding up signs saying "Trust Black women," and these were white women. So again, it's super cringy. And when they get faced with specific questions, they get freaked out.
That's what I want to do.
What does this sign mean to you?
You know, Black women are probably the least respected in America. Their voices aren't heard. Their issues aren't paid attention to. Many white women look beyond their own personal interests and they leave Black women out of the conversation. And I think America needs to change about that.
What are we not trusting them to do right now?
How to care for our country, how to care for each other, how to stand up and fight for things that aren't right.
Millions of Black women voted for Trump. Should we trust them?
I'll take your hand in mine.
Oh my God. I don't think that's true. Millions of Black women voted for Trump?
Yeah.
Way too many. It is.
Should we trust them?
We shouldn't trust them, right?
I don't know.
Maybe not trust Black women then.
That's not true. I do trust Black women.
Who'd vote for Kamala Harris?
I think.
Oh, God. Oh, no.
He wants to know if I trust the Black women who voted for Trump.
I think they voted against their own interests, so it's really hard to put the idea of trust together with someone who is continuing to vote against themselves, right?
Yeah.
So it sounds like they don't have very good judgment.
No.
Yeah, I'm not sure that it's not having good judgment. I don't think they necessarily connect the dots.
Right. You know,
that's what it is.
You know what she should do is she should white woman splain them. That's what she should do.
For sure.
Absolutely. And then what else she should do is she should get in a car and then turn her phone on and videotape herself of her white splaining those Black women on how to vote. Cause that would be helpful, because
that'll go over well.
Right. She should do that.
What a nonsense sign. You know what I mean? It's like the same as believe all women. No, because some women you shouldn't believe.
Right.
You shouldn't trust all women. You should trust the ones that are trustworthy.
Some of them suck.
Exactly. And here's a perfect example. Ayanna Pressley. She is a Black woman who totally sucks.
Yeah.
And she was interrogating Governor Kim Reynolds of Iowa. I guess, and I don't have the full context of this, but this little clip is enough to convince me that Ayanna Pressley is a racist biatch. So she's interrogating Kim Reynolds about the percentage of Black people in her state and basically saying it's not enough, I guess. I don't know. Here's the weird exchange.
Governor Reynolds, let's learn more about the state. Do you know what percentage of Iowans are white and what percentage are Black?
I don't know the exact percentages, no. We're by far a larger percentage of white population.
That's correct. Iowa is 90% white and only 4.5% Black. So that is drastically different from the national population. So when Republicans suggest Iowa should be a national model, they're advocating for a government that doesn't reflect our country.
Maybe they're suggesting it's a model for some specific thing. You know what I mean? Like not that has nothing to do with race. You psycho.
Like maybe it's a model for policy and not for
that's working.
That's exactly. And not for color. Not everybody sees everything in melanin.
Right.
Sorry that you do, but not all
what
of
a way
us
to live.
do. I know, right? It just seems so exhausting. Good Lord.
And I don't know when this next clip is from. This could be years old for all I know. But because Ayanna Pressley tries to again play the race card and Clay Higgins goes after her in the best way possible, I thought this was an appropriate time to play it. to finish out this segment. Please enjoy.
Let's talk about what this model.
Congressman just ended the race debate in a few seconds.
Please keep Dr. Martin Luther King Jr.'s name out of your mouths. When he was a proud and unapologetic black man fighting for equality for black Americans and all marginalized people.
I appreciate my Democrat colleague for exemplifying exactly the kind of oppression of freedoms that we're referencing. How about we'll quote whoever we want to quote? How about that's my First Amendment right? How dare a white Republican quote Martin Luther King? We actually had a congressman say that just now in this committee. And thank you, good lady, for once again exemplifying the type of oppression that we stand against. We will continue to speak freely because I'm a veteran. That's the country that I serve. That's the Constitution I swore an allegiance to. That oath has no expiration date.
Get her.
Boom. That's right.
Get her. Yeah, that's right. That's right. Yeah, and you know what? I think MLK Jr. would he would agree with him.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I think.
That was his whole point.
Yes. He didn't want us to see color. He wanted us to base everything on merit. And these people have
content of character.
Yes. They have taken what he said and they have bastardized it. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Why do they do that?
And then keep his name out of your mouth. Shut up. I will say whosever name I want in my mouth and out of it.
We're going to get the raccoon sign is what we're going to do.
That's right.
We're going to get it. We're about to get it right now. She's got it.
I'm getting it. Here it is. Don't freaking tell me what to do.
Don't tell us what to do. Don't do it.
Not. Don't do it. We don't take kindly.
Nope.
Being ordered around and
right.
told what to say. All right. Last thing before we get to talks is an interesting clip from Ben Shapiro. He was, I guess he was answering viewer questions the other day. And there's a tizzy. There's like a rift between Ben Shapiro and Tucker Carlson right now. Tucker.
Really?
Yeah. On things related to Israel, he's gotten very Candace Owens-y. You know what I mean? He's in that camp.
He has.
Yeah.
Why does he have to do that?
I don't know. And like Tucker and Ben used to be on each other's. You know what I mean? Like they
were like really good friends. Yeah.
Yeah. And so now I guess Tucker's like he's mischaracterizing Ben Shapiro's stance in many ways, and I guess he did it recently enough where the viewer question was asking Ben, "How do you respond to Tucker's latest attack on you?" Essentially, and here is what Ben said.
Response about Tucker Carlson mentioning you in Piers Morgan's interview. I mean, I think that Tucker has been deliberately mischaracterizing my views for some time. That's what I'll say about that. The notion that I quote unquote am chest beating over civilian death is precisely the opposite of what I said in the clip where he's talking about presumably me cheering and celebrating the IDF's action. I explicitly in that clip say the thing that makes the action praiseworthy is that if a terrorist hits you, you kill the terrorist, and that Israel has attempted to minimize civilian casualties to the extent that they have the single best terrorist to civilian kill ratio in the history of urban warfare, which is like precisely the opposite of the view that Tucker is attributing to me, which again, it seems that there's something a little malicious about the way that he continues. I mean, for like a year now to attribute views to me that I don't hold. I've repeatedly asked Tucker to have this discussion publicly, like repeatedly and publicly. I've asked him for that. I've asked him to do that privately. He obviously doesn't want to do that. You know, that's his choice, obviously.
I wish they would just do that. It sucks that he doesn't. I wish they would just do that. That's disappointing. Because I feel like he's willing to have conversations with a lot of people and they've had conversations in the past. Why won't they just have that conversation? That kind of sucks. Because it's not cool to just be out there going, well, this is what he said and this is what he said. When they're friends, just sit down and have a conversation. Plus, Ben looks like he had my cold.
He looks a little tired in that clip, but he also looks like a lot more masculine, I guess, than I've seen him in a while.
He's been working out. He works out.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
And then speaking of folks from the Daily Wire, a great new ad from Jeremy's Razors. So Jeremy Boring, who of course is bigwig up at Daily Wire. You remember the first two Jeremy's Razors commercials that they did? Mm-hmm. They were amazing.
They were good.
And I had no idea that they each cost $1 million to make. $1 million.
A lot of advertising money. Yeah.
So now they are embracing AI for their commercial. They have a brand new one. And he said on this latest one, they spent $47. Oh my God. Because AI is here, he says it presents many new challenges. It presents many new opportunities too. This commercial could not have been made without it, or at least no one in their right mind would have tried to make it without AI. So he says at Jeremy's Razors and across all of our Daily Wire ventures, our goal is to build the most successful company we can to fight the left and build the future, not to fight the future itself. Fighting the future is a fool's errand. AI is here. We intend to use it. It will not replace humans, but it will replace humans who don't embrace AI, which I thought was super interesting. So here is the latest Jeremy's Razors ad made exclusively with AI.
A tale is told of a star that fell in the days when men were hair-covered brutes roaming the earth. This shard of celestial steel was unlike anything early man had ever encountered. And from those 5 fortuitous stainless steel blades came the world's first smooth, silky shave. And it was in that moment, manliness burst into existence. This blade charged forward through the ages of steel and dragon fire. Great conquerors slew tyrants. Founding fathers revolted. And as men's manes were tamed, so they tamed the wild frontier. Also, Steve used it to get a good shave. And he's a pretty solid guy. But as power often breeds enemies, so a wild-bearded philosopher despised the blade for its glorious manly freedom. This enemy of clean shaves bore the razor to a fiery peak and cast it in. The blade was gone. A dark age of unmanliness ensued. An age of men wearing buns, drinking vegan milkshakes, and wearing really tight pants and acting like a bunch of crybaby commies. Until one day, the great archaeologist and CEO Jeremy Boring went on a dangerous quest on which many before had perished. Through seas, mountains, and deepest catacombs, he found the blade still sharp as starlight. His mission was to restore the blade to mankind and thereby restore manliness.
Will my razor make you as manly as the actual greatest men in all of human history? I guarantee it will. In the most emphatic way that isn't legally binding. Hey, at least you'll be as manly as Steve.
Jeremy's Razors. Carve out your legacy.
Kicking a bear. I mean, listen,
It's a bear in the face.
It's really great. You can't do, it's hard to do the kicking the bear in the face thing just with regular people. So I can see why the AI thing is helpful. However, when he says that AI is probably not going to replace people, I disagree with that. It's totally going to. It did replace people in the making of this, of that. It did. It replaced people. Think about it. Like, I have a cousin who's a creative director at an ad agency. I want to send this to him and just be like, how do you feel about this?
Yeah, I'd be so curious to see what he says.
If they spent $1 million on an ad, that $1 million goes to a lot of people that are doing a lot of different things in the creation of that ad. It absolutely is replacing people, you guys. It's replacing people. AI.
And a lot of jobs. It's replacing a lot of jobs.
You cannot deny that it's happening.
No.
$47. $47 to do that.
Can you imagine? I mean, that's incredible.
Yeah.
All right. It is time for some My Pillow talks, and we got some just a couple good ones for you today. One is about examples of words that you may have mispronounced in your life that you now are looking back in total embarrassment about. These examples are so great, you guys. I died.
Pronounced incorrectly one time, and it still haunts you to this day. I'll go first. Stalamate.
Whore's divorce? Whore's divorce?
Hepatitis.
Embassy suits.
Catastrophe.
Paradigm. Why does it have a fucking G?
Fatigue.
It's true. The G is
Stomachotches. Acetaminophen. Dietermine.
Men's laughter.
Dietermine. I like Dietermine. Oh, there's a dog on top of something. I like
Stomachotches was my
Stomachotches. It's Hispanic, you guys. Stomachotches.
Stomachotch. I died. Stomachotches was my absolute favorite. And Dietermine?
Dietermine. It's Dietermine. We got a Dietermine. What's going to happen next? Okay.
That was my favorite. All right. You
good.
saw a little clip of the dog.
I
This
did.
dog thinks that he is a cat.
Oh, thanks. He's a kitty cat, y'all.
Oh, he's up there with the
Meow.
cat. I love
wants to
him.
play.
Oh
Isn't he sweet?
He's the sweetest. And he's older. Did you see his old face?
Mm-hmm.
He's
And
like,
he climbed all the way up there.
I'm old enough to know better, but I don't care. I'm in love with this
I
cat.
love him.
I do too.
So cute. Okay, so there's like a zoo. I guess that people are at the zoo, and you're supposed to be looking through the fence at this white tiger, which is fat and like a lazy white tiger, which is supposed to be of interest. However, there is another creature that wants the attention and definitely gets it.
He's fat. He's fed real good. And then you got Donkey over here.
Oh my god! Oh my god, I would love on him. But look at him. He's so happy. He's
so smiley.
Hey, look at me. Hey. Hey, screw that tiger. Have you seen me? I love him.
Oh my god,
But
so
have you seen
precious.
me? Yeah.
But can the tiger do this?
Yeah.
So cute.
great. Uh-huh.
All right. And then lastly, before we get to some thank yous, this is the sweetest dog ever and the least selfish dog, as you will see. Behold.
Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. She gives it to it.
And he even patted him on the head, you guys.
None of my dogs would do that. None of my dogs. They're
No
all
way.
criminals. They would take both of the pieces. There would be no sharing, and they would inhale them. There'd be no chewing.
Oh
All
my
criminals. That dog is
patted him on the head.
a dog is a saint, an absolute saint sent from heaven. I love him.
Freaking love that dog. All right.
do
We have
too.
some Venmos from yesterday that we need to get to. Colleen Wilson said, we all have a girl crush on Ms. Sweet Caroline. Here's to your Valentines and to Caroline and to all the winning to come. Also to Mock's knees. Get it together, knees.
Right knees? Every morning.
just
I'm always
the
like,
one. It's
every
the one
morning I'm
knee.
like, how's your knee? How's your knee?
It's not great. It's not great. But we're still hopeful. Maybe the cortisone will kick in. I don't know. So, okay. So that was from Colleen. And then we also have one. I think it's from our ball pit crew over on Rumble. This, I said like all the letters the other day, but it's actually Captain Hydro. I would never have known that. But Captain Hydro said, go chicks, tell the idiots. By the way, it is Captain Hydro. Because I was
Captain Hydro.
like, CPTHYDRO. Because I didn't get it. Thank you, Captain Hydro. And then I think there was another one on Venmo that was from Kathy Proctor, who said, I love this awesome community. I needed prayers and y'all showed up and out. Much chick love.
We are
and it is the best community.
We have the absolute best community, hands down. It's the thing we're most proud of. And we're just, we're the best. We're the best. You will find no better community anywhere.
You will not. Over on Locals, Trisha OG said, heading down to High Point University for my last parents' weekend. Conservative values reign at this God, family, and country university. My daughter Grace graduates in May and wants to serve as a police officer / ICE agent upon graduation. 4 years went so quickly. Pray that God keeps her safe as she begins her new chapter of life. We looked at High Point. I would have loved for Jackson to have gone there.
Do they have engineering? I don't
know.
I got to see if they have engineering and swimming. If they have engineering and swimming, we will look at it. Is it North
It
Carolina?
is a D1 school, which is why it didn't work for Jax. But
Okay. She's looking at D1s. She's totally looking at D1s.
It's in North Carolina.
It is? Okay. We'll check that out. I'll have to see if that's on our list. I have no idea if it is.
Yeah, I don't know about their other programs, but
I
it's
love
it's a phenomenal culture school. Like and it's beautiful.
We're trying to look at the ones that are more Christian and stuff too. You know, it's
Yeah.
hard to find ones that are engineering that are like that, engineering and swimmy.
Definitely look at that because
Right,
it's a great one.
All right.
Audrey Krause 5 says SNL was only funny when they had Maya Rudolph playing Kamala, Jim Gaffigan as Tim Walz, and Dana Carvey as Biden. It was spot on. Happy Friday, chicks. Thank you for that. And now you.
Okay. Fairlane Art. I was in my car drinking coffee when Daisy said it's near Mount Everest. I spit coffee all over my dash. Great show, jerks. I think that was yesterday. I think that was you.
Yeah.
I
Well,
think-
it was.
think-
We did a clip about somebody like who was it that did the clip that was saying somebody called? Oh, it was Anna Paulina Luna, and she was like, "I'm getting constituents calling me bitching about this idea of having President Trump on
Right.
Mount Everest," and we were like, "Mount
It's
Everest is in Nepal." Okay.
Hello? Yeah, exactly. Laura Kate Baker. Daisy, I think Trump is just trying to get people to think outside the box in the Mideast. Trump wants to be a peacemaker. I agree with that. I do. It's just that I wouldn't put it past him to try to build like a casino there. I wouldn't. Because why not?
Or a strip mall or a
strip joint. I wouldn't put it
right.
past him because why not? But I'm never gonna go there. I'm never gonna go. And I don't know anybody in my personal vicinity that's gonna go there because
No,
that
I
place
wouldn't,
is a hot mess. Yeah. Lady Shenandoah in Maryland. Is it Maryland County Council member? Is MD Maryland? I think it is.
Yeah, it is, but I don't know if that's what she's. I don't know.
County council member term limited out. So his buddies created a new job just for him at $250,000. This job was already being done by other people. They just want to protect their own. It was squashed. I believe it. This is the thing. They just want to do nothing and make money. Not everybody, because we know we get emails from people who are like, I work in the federal government and I do things. I get it.
Yeah.
But I'd say 75% of people out there that are working in the federal government, what is it that you do here? Phone Mama 8, Rachel Madcow. Why do these people call themselves journalists?
Great question.
I don't know. I wouldn't want to call myself a journalist. That would be embarrassing. Lee Kaiser, for all the USAID defunded journalists and those civil spoon servants, eat it. Go learn to code. Yes. Curio 23, amazing shirt color, Mock. Daisy, your pants match. Hope everyone has an excellent weekend.
Your pants match?
I have blue jeans.
Oh,
today.
okay.
So
I mean,
he probably-
I mean, it's similar.
He thinks we match. I have my daughter's high school. I have a high school shirt on today because she's in regionals this weekend, you guys. Also, point of personal privilege. It's my daughter's 15th birthday weekend. So everybody,
How is this possible?
I know. I'm getting a little verklempt. It's going to be a weekend, but she's competing in regionals this weekend at College Station. So yeah. So anyways, that's what we're going to be doing this weekend. And that's why I have the shirt on. Okay. Brian Brumley, imagine asking those poor little mice, why are you gay? Brian.
I mean, I wish they would just do that and not tamper with their poor little mice bodies.
I know, right? Mice
and monkeys. They're making trans monkeys. That's the last thing we need.
And then don't even get me started on what Fauci did to beagles. Don't.
Oh, I know.
Don't even get me started. Teresa Raimundo. We just don't hate these people enough. I hate to feel that way, but the Dems make it so easy. It is really annoying when it's like we all should be in this together. It should be us versus the government. You know what I mean?
Right.
Why aren't they like that? I don't get it. It doesn't make any sense. Aaronerm. Do I have that right? Aaronerm?
I don't know.
Since your dog shares her name with Macy Hirono, shave the dog's butt and teach her to walk backward.
I will do no such thing.
It would be more appropriate if she just got Maisie, her dog, drunk. That's what she needs to do. Just give her some alcohol and she'll be just like Maisie Hirono. BTK, knee gel injections, visco supplementation.
That's the next step. So I wanted to do that at this doctor's. That's what I thought was going to happen. But they were like, no. Try this cortisone injection first. Now that your knee's been scoped and cleaned out, we want to reduce inflammation and see if that works. And then we'll do the gel. That's what happens next time. So I got to wait a month. And then if this doesn't work, then we'll do the gel. I hate all of it. I don't like all these shots.
I just want her to get a new knee, you guys. That's what I'm praying for. I just want Mock to get a new knee. And I think she'd be really happy. I think she thinks, and I think it sucks, having to go through the surgery step again, but I really just want her to have a brand new knee and have it be bionic, kind of like I have in my back. And I think she'd be so delighted. After about 6 weeks of recovery, I think you would be a brand new person. You'd be out there because you just need a new knee.
You need
a new knee.
Walk.
GCQC, happy birthday to Gwen. Thank you, GCQC. Thank you. My daughter, Connie Cannell, my daughter Katrina is 45. How? I'm only 45. Wish her a happy birthday. Happy birthday to your daughter and my daughter. They share a birthday weekend together. So happy birthday to her. I gave birth on Super Bowl weekend. So,
oh, look at that.
My daughter is my Super Bowl, and that's why she likes bar food. I'm convinced.
It makes perfect sense.
Oh,
wait, there's another, we got another over on Locals. B. Riser said it's okay for children to have a say over their gender, but they don't have the smarts to work for Elon. Yeah, great point. You can choose to mutilate yourself when you're 9, but like Elon's 20-something-year-olds who know how to code can't do a job. Okay.
It just further amplifies that these people have zero common sense, you guys.
Yeah.
Zero. And we're winning every day.
Exactly.
Every day we're winning. You guys bring it in. Bring it in. There's not going to be flaps today. We had a little bit of a mishap with Astrid this morning.
She's not feeling very flappy.
She's not feeling very flappy, not feeling well. That's a whole other story for a whole other time. So you guys have a wonderful weekend, and we will talk to you on Monday. Bye, everybody.
Hello, beautiful people. This is the Chicks on the Right's Indian correspondent. Thank you for watching or listening. Be very sure to like, subscribe, and ring the bell to stay up to date on all of their delicious content. Okay, thank you. Come again.